You're listening to Experience Imagination, a themed entertainment design podcast presented by Falcons Creative Group. Every episode, we discuss a new topic with a panel of creative professionals. Hi, I'm Cecil McPuri, President and Chief Creative Officer of Falcons.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Experience Imagination. I'm your host, Audrey DeLong. You know, our Falcons family is lucky to be based in Orlando, which is also called the vacation capital of the world. But when people who live in Orlando want to get away, where do they go? Well, today I'm going to ask a few of my colleagues that question and a few others. I'm sure we'll get a wide variety of answers and we're going to have a good time. I hope you do too. We are here with Aruj Malik, who started at Falcons when?
2-3 months ago?
Okay.
3 months ago. A little more than 3.
So you came from where?
I came from Pakistan, and I'm here in Orlando, and I've been here for like a year and a half.
All right, Aruj, what do you do at Falcons?
So I am a junior interactive developer. So that means I create all the AI and programming for rides and different interactives here.
You came from Pakistan. You lived in Pakistan and grew up there.
Yep.
What kind of vacations did you go on when you were over there?
One of my biggest vacations that I went on was like a 2-week trip all up in the northern mountains. So essentially in the Himalayas.
Oh.
So that was fun.
Did you actually hike in them?
So most of us Pakistanis, we don't usually go up hiking. We just go around in the cities and stuff.
Help us visualize what that looks like a city around the Himalayas.
Yeah.
What would you see?
What you would most likely see is a giant road that's on the side of the mountain, but on especially the side that's kind of a cliff face, you would see a whole bunch of stores, you'll see a whole bunch of houses, or like small little alcoves coming off of those roads that have 2 houses on them, and that's it. So it's very, very close to this one major road, and then small shops and small places around them. So they have to be pretty small. They can't be too big.
So I want to know how easy it is to travel outside of Pakistan, because I know in Europe it's so easy to go from country to country.
If you want to get the permission to travel, meaning to get a visa, is not the easiest thing. But traveling within Pakistan is like super easy. Like you can go, it's a pretty big country. It has a lot of different spots you can go to. I haven't been to a lot of these places. I've only been up north. But yeah, you can travel very easily within the country, but outside is not that easy now.
Okay, so what was your first trip outside of Pakistan?
Actually coming here. That's like the one and only trip I've had outside my country. It's
Really?
coming to the U.S.
Was it Florida?
It was actually Chicago.
Oh, okay, that's a great city.
Yeah,
Tell us about that.
So I went to Chicago to study. So for a semester, I was in an exchange program. So I went there.
What time of year was this?
Oh, it was cold. It was January.
Oh, bummer.
Oh, it was like in the freezing times. So,
yeah, it's the worst.
Yep. So Chicago, and it's snowing. First time seeing snow, and it's the Chicago snow.
Oh, yeah, it didn't snow in Pakistan?
Not where I lived, not in my city.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about vacations outside of Florida.
Yeah.
Have you taken any of those?
The biggest adventure I've had outside of Florida and in the U.S. is in Chicago. Going on a train there is really common. Here in Florida, I haven't been on a train once, but in Chicago, I was on a train all the time. Discovered what Walmart is.
Oh.
It was intimidating at first, and the amount of money I spent there was also very intimidating.
So tell me about some of the trips you have taken with your girlfriend and her family. Where do they like to go?
So I went with my girlfriend and her family to the beach, and the beach was a unique experience because I've never felt sand before.
You've never felt sand and you lived in Pakistan?
No.
See, my impression of Pakistan is it's nothing but sand.
No.
So please correct me.
So if you go up north from where I lived in Lahore. So if you went up north, it would be mountain. If you went down south, it would be desert. So I lived in a grassy, flat land.
So now that you're in the U.S., you're kind of settled here. I've been here a year and a half or 2. Your next vacation, do you have something in mind?
I want to go to Disney World. I really want to go to Disney World. Come on, I've been hearing about it my entire life.
Okay,
I just
that's
want to
understandable.
check it out because I'm so close. I can feel it.
Right.
But I haven't seen it.
It's in spitting distance of our studio, basically.
Yeah, but my ideal thing would be to just check out different theme parks because I've been in love with theme parks for a long time, and I want to check out Six Flags. That's one of the biggest theme parks I want to check out.
Oh, yeah. So let me ask you this. If there was one celebrity you could take with you to Disney World,
Okay.
who would that be?
It's gonna be a weird answer.
Give it to us.
It's gonna be Markiplier from YouTube.
He's a YouTuber.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who is he? What does he do?
So he's a gamer. He got the passion in me for programming and gaming and making these things and seeing these reactions out of people. His love for people, his love for what he does is just so amazing. And the content he creates is fantastic. I love to just chat with him about what he does. Mm-hmm. He creates some amazing, you choose your own adventure videos.
Oh, nice. All right. Well, this was a lot of fun, Arush.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
Of course. This is amazing. Thank you for having me.
We are here with Torierton, who is the Vice President of Corporate Strategy for Falcons Beyond. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you, and we want to know a little bit about what you do.
Thanks for asking. I'm responsible for Falcons Beyond growth strategy, working with the executive team, the executive chairman, and the board, specifically around our joint ventures, any mergers that we do, and our strategic partnerships.
Okay.
I am the direct liaison with Marriott Hotels International joint venture, so I'm point to point from our team with their team.
Okay, gotcha. So I'm sure that keeps you really busy, but it sounds like you could probably globetrot a little bit too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Where have you been recently?
I recently, in fact, just yesterday, spent the weekend in Fernandina Beach, which isn't very far from here.
Yeah, that's
it's
not
north
far.
of Jacksonville. A beautiful beach.
I've been there.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Sea oats and lots of baby sea turtles.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, it was super cute. It reminds me of old Florida. There weren't a lot of high-rise development. There still looks like single-family homes that are beachside. Very relaxing and beautiful.
Yeah, that's on the east coast of Florida, and people talk about the beaches here a lot because we're lucky in Orlando to be surrounded by so much beauty, and there's a lot of tourist attractions as well, but most of the people, when I talk to them, they say they like to get away to the beach, and there's tons and tons of great beaches within an hour or so.
Absolutely.
So when you go on summer vacation, you do take beach vacations generally?
I do take beach vacations. My birthday is in the summer, so I tend to try to take my vacation around my birthday, which is in the middle of July. I am also a Cancer zodiac, so I am a water sign, so I am very attracted to be able to have my toes in the sand and, a splash in any body of water.
Yeah. What's your favorite beach vacation you've ever taken?
My grandparents moved to Naples, Florida in the late 60s, so I spent many, many vacations beachside there. And again, that's a little different. It's the Gulf of Mexico,
Right.
so much calmer and warmer and tropical. But that's how I grew up, and it was usually twice a year in Naples.
Very pretty there. So when you vacation, who do you generally go with?
I generally go with my family, my husband, and now my 2 adult children. I like being able to create those memories with my family. Some of our greatest family memories are our vacations together.
Yeah, I'm sure. So let's think about places that you haven't been around the world. I mean, the job seems like it would take you a lot of places, but is there one place in particular that you really want to go to?
One of my goals in life is to put my toes in as many bodies of water around the globe as possible. So it's pretty much anywhere where there's, blue water and sand, but many different places that I'd like to go. I'd like to see more of Mexico, the beaches of Europe.
Yeah, the beaches of Europe are totally different.
Totally
than
different.
Florida. So tell the audience a little bit about the differences between those beaches and Florida beaches.
Florida beaches are, well, depending on where you go, but if you go to your Daytona and New Smyrna's, there are parts where you can drive on the beach.
Yeah.
And it's a bit busy, but there are also beautiful parts of Florida beaches that it's remote and quiet. South of France is very, very busy. There's rocks and you actually sit on the beach and, someone serves you cocktails. I mean, it's just very, very different.
Right.
The same thing when you go to the beaches of Italy, depending upon where those are, they're usually relatively crowded and lots of activity.
Would you ever think about roughing it?
Absolutely. That's part of the adventure.
Yeah.
I like to travel like I'm not a tourist. So I encourage my kids to behave the same way. So making sure that we perhaps are in a place that there are a lot of tourists, but I always want to look at the unique side of that location.
Yeah, living like a local.
Living like a local.
Yeah, the Airbnbs and the VRBOs of the world have really helped that.
Absolutely. In 2016, my daughter lived abroad outside of Venice, and we went to visit, and that was exact. We stayed in an Airbnb in Venice, and the first thing that I asked my host was, do you have a local that could show us the other side of Venice. And we were very, very fortunate because we spent actually 2 days with Sylvie, who introduced us to all of her friends around the island. So we learned printmakers and gondola makers, and we went to a dance. We went to a really unique restaurant. So I really felt like we got to see the other side.
Well, this has been really fascinating. I appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks. It's been fun to be part of the conversation.
Excellent. Hey, so we're here with Simonhurst, who is the Chief Parks Officer, Operations and Expansion for Falcons Beyond. Simon is joining us remotely, so hello, Simon. Welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you, and thank you for putting up with an Englishman. I guess there's not so many Englishmen yet in Falcons Beyond, then.
You are our first.
Well, there you go. That's my only claim to fame, then.
And what do you do for Falcons Beyond?
On the expansion part, my job is to look for new sites that might be appropriate for a Kathmandu park or a hotel as well, which means my day-to-day is really interesting. I get to travel all around the world. So over these last 3 years, I've been I've been to Kuala Lumpur, Italy, Spain, Dominican Republic, Malaysia, all over the globe. I'm really fortunate. So we're going to look out for the sites, and then afterwards, we've got to do all the P&Ls, make sure that the numbers add up. And then if the board gives the okay for the projects, then I deal with all the pre-opening operations, making sure that we get the right staff. And then when everything's up and running, I hand the keys over, and then I move on to the next project. So no day is a dull day.
Oh my gosh, that sounds extremely fun, first of all. So you're based in Majorca, is that correct?
Yeah, I've lived actually I left the UK when I was 19 and moved to Majorca. So I've been there for a long time. I've been there for like 31 years. Oh, my God.
I want to hear more about Majorca. Paint the picture for us.
Majorca is a beautiful place, and I don't want to sound like a travel agent now for Majorca, but I mean, nearly 14 million tourists a year visit Majorca, and in Europe, it's probably one of the most popular destinations. So it's a small island, maybe an hour, 2 hours from the furthest 2 points.
Okay. Beautiful
beaches, beautiful gastronomy, and the main thing about Majorca is it's only an hour away from the major European destinations, an hour and a half. So the different cultures, you've got the Spanish culture, the Arabic culture, and Majorca has been attacked by pirates for centuries. Huh?
Oh, crazy.
And this has just made an incredible mix of architecture and culture and the food and everything. The beaches, on the east coast of the island, there's a protected area called Cabrera, which is a small island. And all that coastline is completely unspoilt, nothing built there. And there's just kilometers and kilometers of beaches, And everybody says that the Caribbean's got the best beaches in the world. Mm-hmm. I would challenge anybody to find much better than the east coast of Majorca.
Wow.
You should check it out online.
Okay, good to know.
A must see.
You're traveling quite a bit to Punta Cana now because we have shovels on the ground there for the Kathmandu theme park. So tell us a little bit about the Punta Cana area and why you like it so much. Why is it so ideal for the Kathmandu park, first of all?
You've got the most incredible hotel infrastructure, probably better than anywhere else in the Caribbean. These huge resorts, great beaches. But when you actually leave the resorts, there's just some of the most incredible virgin beaches. And, for me, what's abundant in Punta Cana and the surrounding area is just the nature, the forests, the palm trees. There's just kilometers and kilometers of jungle. There's not many places still left in the world where you can actually find places so unspoiled. And so what I like is the contrast.
Okay. Well, what was the last actual vacation you took?
The last time I took time off was June of 2020. My family, there's 5 of us all together. I have a wife and 3 kids. We rented a sailing boat and we went around the island with some friends. So we left on, I think it was something like the mid-June, and we were 2 weeks without touching the shore.
Oh, wow.
Normally, Majorca is really popular for sailors. There's a huge charter business. But because we were still sort of just coming out of the pandemic and tourists weren't allowed in, we kind of went to coves that it would be unthinkable at that time of the year because they're always full. And so we were almost on our own.
Is there a place kind of near the top of your list that you want to see still?
So one place I'd really like to go is in Iceland, and it's the capital, Reykjavik. I've worked in tourism really all my life. And going back maybe 20 years ago now, there used to be charter flights from Reykjavik. And there were a lot of tour operators and tour operator reps that I used to deal with, and they were such nice people. The hospitality was off the scale. So I'm going to try and maybe book myself a winter holiday to maybe go there with a family this year. That will be really nice.
So let me ask you this. If there was a celebrity out there that would take a vacation with you, who is your ideal pick?
Anybody that's funny. Yeah, I like people and I love to laugh.
I think I have the perfect celebrity for you, Conan O'Brien.
All right.
He has done all kinds of traveling shows. He's been to so many great spots around the world. First of all, he's one of the funniest people I think I've ever known in my life. He'd be great for you.
Well, in that case, I would like to travel with Conan O'Brien. Yeah, really? That sounds good. Is he Irish?
Yeah, he's 6'4". He's Irish.
I don't want to sit next to him on a flight. If one thing I've learned all these years of flying so much, the trick is sit next to somebody that's smaller than you on the flight.
Yeah.
In fact, you should come away. Yeah. Well, you can sit in the middle. We'll invite you as well.
I'm definitely in. Let's plan that. Well, Simon, thank you for taking this kind of visual trip around the world with us. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you for putting up with me. So I will see you in the office, I hope.
We'll see you then.
Bye-bye.
Well, here we are with Jen Chap, who came over from the Kathmandu team and is now part of Falcons Beyond. What do you do, Jen, for Falcons Beyond?
I am EVP Brand Strategy. So my role is to help make sure that the brand of Kathmandu, the brand of Falcons Beyond, and any other IPs within our IP expander are on brand and that we're representing them.
Gotcha. So let me ask you this. Have you been to the park in Mallorca?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I worked on the Kathmandu brand when it was really just launching as a joint venture with Melia Hotels International and set the brand strategy early on with the idea that we would be able to get to the point we are today. So Kathmandu in Mallorca is the first park, and it was really the test case, and now we're Falcons Beyond, and so the future is super exciting.
It probably makes you want to go on vacation when you're going there for work, because you are there to do work.
Yes.
But I'm sure you have a little bit of fun in the process.
Well, funny you should ask, because when it comes to vacations, lots of times it is almost like a vacation because we're in amazing places, be it Mallorca or Tenerife or other places. It's always kind of nice to try to use either the weekends or tack on some vacation to go see other places.
I've heard Mallorca is such a great vacation spot.
It's beautiful. Just tons and tons and tons of vacationers and beautiful beaches. And so the Kathmandu Park there is very unique because it's situated right in the middle of this hotel concentration, which allows people that are just literally walking by to come in, and the ticketing is such that people can come and go. So it doesn't compete with the beach.
A lot different system than the mega parks.
Absolutely.
Well, outside of Mallorca, outside of the Mediterranean area, you live in Orlando.
I do.
What I want to ask, though, is when you really want to get away from work, what do you do?
I'm the youngest of 7 girls in my family. And so we have tried to make a pact that every summer we do a sister reunion. And so we meet up in different places. And so that's the highlight of my getting away, is just to be with my sisters. And it's, jammy time and puzzles and just super, super fun. I know it sounds really boring, but it's my family's really important to me, and I don't get to see them, especially with the pandemic, because I have not seen them in almost 2 years. So.
Oh, no. That next one is going to be epic.
It's coming up.
All right, so not everybody takes an actual vacation, but Jen, what do you do when you want to get away from the office? Do you have any personal goals or commitments?
I actually do. I'm very committed to a cause, and that cause is related to saving lives from sudden cardiac arrest.
Very important.
Yes. Most people don't know that sudden cardiac arrest is very different than a heart attack. Did you know that?
I didn't.
So a heart attack is when you have blockage and your heart starts to die, but it's still beating, you're still breathing, you're in pain, but you're conscious. A sudden cardiac arrest happens when either the blockage is just so great or there's a problem with your heart and your electrical system that your heart literally stops beating normally. And so you're clinically dead. Your heart is like, if it's in VPIB, it's just fluttering. And so it's not pumping blood to your brain. So if you don't get CPR within 90 seconds, then for every minute that goes by without CPR, your chance of survival is down by 10%. So point is, I advocate for people to know CPR and to recognize when it's needed, why it's needed, and also AEDs, because CPR just buys time. An AED is kind of like jumper cables for your car. If you don't have jumper cables, your car's not going to start, right?
Right.
So that's what an AED is. So it's really important to me, and that's what I, often do on my time off.
Jen, thank you so much for talking about that really important topic. And I also want to say, I hope you and the gals have a really good time next time you gather.
We will. I am certain of it, and I will share this discussion with them. This has been super fun. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. We are here with Elizabeth De Los Reyes, who is a junior CG generalist at Falcons. What do you do on a daily basis?
I basically do a bunch of things across the board, ranging from modeling to texturing to lighting to compositing.
So you went to SCAD.
Yes, I did.
All right, so which is based in Savannah, Georgia, for those of you who don't know, but most of our listeners know that. Did you ever get away, like during your summer breaks? Where did you go? What did you do for vacation?
My family loves to go on vacation all the time. We love to travel, so I would always go home first, and then we would take a trip somewhere. So, for example, in I think 2018, we took a trip to both Japan and the Philippines.
What?
So for like 2 months, yeah. And so
Wow.
that was so much fun. And either we would do that or go to like New Orleans or somewhere else around like the U.S. just
Okay.
to like travel.
Japan and the Philippines, do they have family there?
Yeah, I'm Filipino, so a lot of our family live over there. So we would always have a place to stay, and then they would take us all over the place. Japan was more of like a side trip, and I've never been there before then. So actually, that was probably one of my favorite trips I've ever taken.
So what did you do in Japan?
We went to Disney Sea. I love theme parks, obviously. So going there was a lot of fun. Food. That's what I liked about traveling the most. I think it'd be food.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the Philippines, do they have a lot of kind of location-based entertainment or family entertainment centers or theme parks? What's the big thing there?
I think they might have a few theme parks, but the big thing there I would say would be like shopping. They have a lot of huge, ginormous malls over there, and they're beautiful. Sometimes they're like 3 or 4 stories high, or they're huge. I think the Mall of Asia, which is the biggest mall in Asia, is located there. And it takes you more than a day just to go through the whole thing.
Okay. Have you ever taken a cruise?
Yes, I have.
Oh, tell me about that.
I actually went on one a few years ago to Mexico.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was fantastic. We had the best food, best tacos I've ever eaten ever.
I bet.
And we went to go see some I think it was like a geyser or like a waterfall or something when we stopped there. But the cruise itself was really fun. My cousin and I, he's a photographer, so we got to run around like taking pictures and by the pool and like on the little golf course thing that they have. And
On the ship.
on the ship.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun.
So now that you're in Florida and we're in the vacation capital of the world, basically, you're probably thinking, okay, I'm going to leave Florida to go on vacation somewhere now, not come to Florida for vacation. So where would that be?
I'd like to say I'm very blessed to be well-traveled in my life, but one place I want to go for sure next would be Korea, because I love the culture and I love the food. And honestly, I think it's one of the most beautiful places too. So I'd love to experience going there.
Yes, probably underrated on Americans' list of places to go.
That's true.
Well, I don't want to get you in trouble with your parents, but do you see yourself ever taking a vacation without them?
Oh, yeah. I traveled to Italy and France once because my best friend was living abroad for school. And so I took a trip to go visit her for like a month or so. And so that was really fun. It wasn't with my family, but it was with hers. So I don't know if that counts.
It does.
But
Italy and France. So where in Italy and France did you go?
in Italy, went to Rome and Siena and a few other places. I think like Florence. And then France, we went to Paris. And we were only there for a day. And for that day, we went to Disneyland.
Paris?
Yeah, Disneyland Paris. Of all the places I went there.
Right. Of all the cultural, historical places.
Exactly. I have to go back. That's just the bottom line here.
You definitely have to.
Oh, yeah.
And what did you think of the food in Italy?
Amazing. Like, for example, I don't like truffle, but my mind was completely changed because there was this truffle ravioli that we ate, and I ate 2 plates of it because it was so good, and I never thought I would like it.
Okay, Elizabeth, thank you so much for joining us and sharing all your wonderful travel stories.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us for our sizzling summertime special. I want to thank my fellow Falcons for joining me today. Aruj, Tori, Simon, Jen, and Elizabeth. We'll be back soon with another episode of Experience Imagination.
Thank you for listening to Experience Imagination, a Falcons Creative Group production. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the podcast and share with your friends. To keep up with our latest news, visit us on the web at falconscreativegroup.com and follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas for future episodes, please email us at podcast@falconscreativegroup.com.